the next herb. It's not a herb, basically, it's a big kingdom of its own. Every single person keeps hearing about this. In the common man's word, everyone calls it turmeric. Everyone uses it every day. Everyone sees it in some form or the other. I've seen many women, especially the people who come home, applying it to look beautiful, etc. We have it in our kitchens. The Indian kitchen is very famous. And yes, in the scientific way, I think people refer to it as curcumin, in otherwise called turmeric. Now, I know a friend of mine who's done extensive work with this one herb, besides many other herbs. I've been after him to do a talk so that our public gets aware. And the main idea of these conversations is to keep our public aware. Maybe add one or two things to their own knowledge so that they can go back and use it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all know the word curcumin, but do we know the word nanocurcumin? I'm not really sure. Everyone knows nano and everyone knows curcumin. Everyone knows the word turmeric. Now, I've heard of many things being a doctor about bioavailability, in vivo stability, and all the big words that are associated. Somebody talks about the C3 complex, and I'm not really sure what all this is. I wouldn't be the right person to give more information or knowledge to all of you in this one matter. Here with me, I have a doctor who's been practicing for many years. He's relatively young looking, but he has tremendous experience in this one area. I have heard him on numerous occasions. I know him as a person. Besides being a doctor, he has a hobby of being a doctor, and he also has a profession of being a doctor. He loves serving the poor. He has himself told me that's one of his main passions, why he indulges in all what he does. He not only studies and researches what he works upon, but he also, in many ways, dispenses and manufactures what people really need. To one of my best buddies, somebody who knows his stuff really well, a man of many virtues. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to hear more about the therapeutic benefits of nanocurcumin. Please, let's welcome Dr. Leroy Ribello. Dr. Leroy, it's all yours. So please begin. Yes, thank you. Great. Great to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Ushi. Thank each and every one of you for coming and allowing me to speak about this wonderful herb or plant or whatever you can call it. We call it the curry herb, because in most of our curries, we use this powder, turmeric powder, just turmeric. You can get it in the shop. And being an Indian, in almost all our foods, we use it. Thank you, Dr. Shenoy, for briefing about COVID-19 and talking about the part about the statistics and all that. So coming back to the topic of curcumin or turmeric. Now, what exactly is this curcumin? See, we scientists have, a fad for putting big words to simple things. For example, if you say linear propagation of light, it means nothing. You can just say light travels in a straight line. So we all know that this herb or this curcumin or turmeric has a lot to do with medicine, has a lot to do with a lot of healing powers. As days go by, as years go by, as decades go by, science advances. Our human body and plants and animals around in this world have been there much before us. It does not mean that since today, if I say or somebody says or you read in some textbook that, oh, this particular herb is good for something. It's not that from today it is good for something. It's always been like that. And if you see, there are different types of turmeric available. Some turmeric which is grown in Kerala, some turmeric are grown in Sangli. In Hyderabad, there's a place called Nizamabad where they grow one of the best turmerics in the world. Now, what is the difference in all this? There is a compound that is mainly anti-inflammatory. This compound is called curcumin. Now, the amount of curcumin present in this turmeric actually increases the price, or what you call it, says that this turmeric is better than the other turmeric. In most of the Indian cultures, even in marriages, there is something called the ceremony where you put turmeric on the bride, or you put turmeric on the groom, and you purify them, or you make them glow. So these things have been there since in our tradition since thousands of years. Even there is a mention in many holy books, like in the Bible. They say when Jesus was born, there were 3 wise men coming from the east, bearing gifts. These gifts were frankincense, myrrh, and gold. Now, gold is always mentioned as turmeric, because in many cultures, we don't give our turmeric to another house, because we say turmeric is like Lakshmi, which is like gold. It will go away. So metaphorically, it was written that the wise men bought turmeric and gave it to Jesus, calling it gold. Now I have some slides which I can share with you, but this presentation will also be distributed so you can go through it. There are many slides, and there's lots of gyan of turmeric that you can get on the internet. If you see over here, the most important one is anti-inflammatory. Having any disease that causes inflammation, you need something to be anti-inflammatory, which is turmeric. Then you see, every disease, the basis of every disease is inflammation. So in almost, whether it is arthritis, whether it is liver, whether it is COVID, whether it is bronchitis, or whether it is any of the disease that have the itises, you can use turmeric as an adjunct therapy. When we talk about turmeric, it is the amount of curcumin that you can use in. Now, in turmeric, there are 2 basic compounds that are seen. The first one is turmerons, the thing that gives it its smell. The second thing is curcumin, the thing that gives it its color, and which also has an anti-inflammatory effect. A lot of people put this turmeric on their faces to become more fairer or to become more whiter. So it has a bleaching effect. Now, you must have heard of many brands or many, turmeric creams, but a lot of people with white clothes can't wear them, because then the shirt or the dress becomes stained with yellow. So there is another herb that is called Curcuma zedori. This is nothing but white turmeric. The root basically grows in Kerala, and it is white in color, and it has all the properties of turmeric. And this you can put on your skin, you can put on your body for cosmetic effects. But coming now back to the pandemic, see, COVID over here is here to stay. It's not going to go away. It's not that once lockdown is over, the virus is just going to go away or something. People are going to go back to their normal lives. People are going to go back to have other diseases, what they had. The people with Alzheimer's will still suffer from Alzheimer's disease. People with heart disease will still suffer from heart disease. Those diseases are not going to go away. So what we suggest is that if you have any kind of inflammatory disease or any kind of disease, you start with some herbs. You start with turmeric, start with ashwagandha as a preventive measure. Now, coming to turmeric and cancer, you see, you can give it to a lot of cancer patients, which will stop their cancer, the growing of the cancer cells, and therefore it helps. So what is new? Now, if you see in the market, there are so many different types of turmeric available. Everybody sells a bottle of capsules and they say this is curcumin. You take 1 a day, take 2 a day, or take 3 a day. So let's come and, to the point of which turmeric is good. How much turmeric to have? So if you see the turmeric root behind me, it has concentric rings. And in the middle, if you see it, there is dark orange. This dark orange is concentration of the nanoparticles that are there in this turmeric. So turmeric eaten raw is actually best, which has a lot of nanoparticles. Now, when I say raw, most of the turmeric you get in the market is dried. Now, how is this dried? So when the farmer harvests this turmeric from the ground, he first washes it and then boils it. After they boil it, they drain the water and then they dry it in the sun. This is the dried turmeric that you get. When you eat this, most of the nanoparticles are gone. If you want to have these nanoparticles, you need to take it directly from the field, wash it, make a juice of it, and then drink it. That naturally contains nanoparticles. In herbal medicine, what we do is that we find plants that have healing properties. Try and use our modern technology, try and use our modern science to find where these nanoparticles are and try and extract these nanoparticles and give them to you in a capsule, give them to you in a tablet, or give them to you in a powder. Every processing of every herb has some degradation to the herb, to the natural herb as presented in nature. Being a scientist, being a doctor, I always advocate first, the best thing to do is to grow your local food and eat local. Eat local produce that are produced with minimum or no pesticides, minimum or no herbicides and all. But if we can't do that, the second best thing to do is to have these extracts which are commercially available. Since all of us today work in offices, most of us live in urban environments where there is shortage of land, you can't grow much. You can have a small kitchen garden, you can have a small balcony garden, you can grow your own herbs and you can eat. Now we have many papers that we have been published about this nano curcumin. We can share it with you if you ask. I mean, there is a link. Dr. Ushi will be sharing the presentation. And you can see the papers in these links that, a lot of medical gyan is there in that. About how this nano turmeric or this nano curcumin helps us. We all have heard of, haldi wala doodh, and we made fun of it. Once when I was in Europe, I went to a restaurant. I paid a good amount of money, maybe $100 or something. I asked for the menu for this dish and I said, give me something that is nice. So the chef came to me and said, sir, we'll give you an almond latte with an essence of curcumin. I said, okay. We had it. And when it came, it was nothing what our grandmother used to give us, which is called Badam Haldi Wala Doodh. So Badam Haldi Wala Doodh has a lot of healing properties. Now, why is it Haldi Wala Doodh and not Haldi Wala Pani? Because, as I said, the turmeric that you get, which is curcumin, is fat soluble. So whenever you cook food, if you use the commercially available turmeric powders available in the market or the ground powders, you have to add oil or you have to add milk, which is fat. It gets absorbed in this fat and then enters your body. But if you take raw turmeric juice, or if you take a curry, it is 80-90% water. And our Indian cooking, if you see, the grinding of the masala in the stone creates a lot of nanoparticles. And these nanoparticles make the curry soluble. But unfortunately or fortunately today, we cook on electric stove or gas stove. We don't cook on the open fire. We don't cook on the open coal fire, which gradually, absorbs the turmeric into the food and makes nanoparticles. So we have created small, bottles where you can get these nanoparticles available in the shops. So you can buy nano curcumin, just sprinkle a small pinch on your food. You can sprinkle it in your sambar. You can sprinkle it on your food and you can have it. And it's as good as, going through the whole process, because modernization is about making things available, making things easy, making things cheap, available to the people, available to the masses. I will also be happy to take questions about how to use this herb, because this is a wonder herb. In every culture, if you see herbs that are sacred, usually the fruit or the plant has the same name given to it as the color. As you see, orange is the name of the fruit and name of the color. Now, if you see turmeric, the word in Telugu is called paspu. So paspu is the name of herb and paspu is the name of the yellow color. In Tamil, the manjal herb is the name of turmeric and it is also name of the yellow color manjal. Haldi or halod is the name of the color yellow. Halod is also the name of the turmeric, which is haldi. So with this, I know there is lots and lots of information about turmeric and about haldi and about curcumin, which is out there in the internet. If any one of you has any doubts on how to use this, there are 1,000,001 ways to use this. I'm not saying any way is wrong or any way is right. But using it in your traditional way, using it in your traditional medicine is always the right way to use it. So if you know of anyone who has been infected with COVID-19, or if you want to keep yourself, I'll say, build your immunity to the recent pandemic of COVID-19, it is good for you to take 1 glass of haldi doodh or haldi wala pani if you have access to the fresh haldi or the fresh turmeric. If you don't have access to that, you can take 2 or 3 capsules of curcumin every day. But remember, if you are taking the capsule of curcumin, have it with warm water followed by milk or followed by some oily substance. If you are taking nano curcumin, just need warm water. No need to add any oil or no need to add any fat to that. No need to add milk. Thirdly, for building up our immunity, COVID, as I said, is there to stay. Whether you get a vaccine or not, it is your immunity which is going to help you. So having a strong immunity is much better than waiting for the government or big corporations to produce vaccines. Because as I say, that health or immunity is in your own hands. It is in your hands. Getting infected may not be in your hands, but definitely curing yourself, as Dr. Ushi said, from any disease or any malady is in our hands. And there is a saying, when a malady does not have a single remedy. Many of us try to be a physician. So in this event of COVID or coronavirus, you will find everyone telling you what is good, what to do, what not to do. There is a lot of saying of having this. I heard about what you call it, chloroquine. Now, quinine is also basically a herb, comes from the cinchona plant. Now, in the olden days, for every fever, if you go back to the history of medicine, for every fever, quinine was one of the treatments. There is even a drink that is prepared from quinine, which is called tonic water. You get it. A lot of people like to have it with their whiskey or with their gin. So if you see on the composition of tonic water, you have a few drops of quinine and you have soda. I tell many of my patients or many of my friends, I say, okay, if you want to have a drink, there's nothing wrong in it. You can have a drink, you can have it with your tonic water. Along with that, you sprinkle a few drops of nano-curcumin in that. It won't change the taste. Of course, it may alter the color of your drink, but it won't alter the taste of your drink. And along with that, you'll build up your immunity. Jokes apart, if you do not want to have the alcohol, you can just have it with warm water, or you can have it along with the tonic water, because tonic water in itself contains quinine, which people say, which of course is not proved, as I said, to a malady which has no remedy. There is a remedy. So you can mix it with that and have it. Along with that, you can have the ashwagandha. Now, as Dr. Shenoy said, this ashwagandha also has a lot of nanoparticles. So by boiling this ashwagandha with the milk to make it half, we also found that there is a lot of nanoparticles in that. So in Dr. Shenoy's recipe, if you add a little bit of your turmeric, you can definitely have a good, immunity. With that, I would not like to waste much of the time, and I would like to thank you. The presentations will be sent to you all. I would like to thank Dr. Ushi for allowing me to speak, and I would like to thank each and every one of you. And I hope this has been a little bit of, giving you a little bit of my knowledge that I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Dr. Ushi.
Roy. Yes, thank you so much. And that was really informative and just to the point. And now we actually throw open the entire floor for questions. Dr. Leroy, there is a question for you. Please mute everybody. Jagdish, they can type the questions. Just mute everybody. Yeah. So I'm going to be asking you the question. Dr. Leroy, the question is for you. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me, Dr. Leroy?
Yes, Dr. Ushi, I can hear you.
Okay. So the question goes like this. What can you do when a person consumes curcumin and ends up with constipation? It also induces acidity when they urinate, and it's also known to produce acne. Is there anything that you would recommend to counter these effects?
Yes. Curcumin generally increases the heat of the body. As Dr. Shenoy says, that ashwagandha decreases the heat.
Yeah.
So curcumin is a herb that generally increases the heat of the body, as they say in Ayurveda. And this is what causes all these, these effects or unwanted effects.
Okay.
So many a time, when a person is having most of this curcumin, it could be with the formulation. His formulation may not be right.
Right.
Secondly, every herb is not meant for everybody. It's not like if I go to the shop and I buy 3 or 4 medicines of paracetamol or ibuprofen, I just start eating it because I like to eat it. Curcumin, garlic, all these things have certain medicinal properties and they have to be taken properly. Like for example, if a person has acne, a lot of acne, giving them curcumin internally will make it worse. For them, they have to add curcumin externally to the skin. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, the world is designed in such that, as in the definition of a drug, what is the definition of a drug? A substance that doesn't exist in nature is called a drug. Now, how can you trust your life to a substance that does not exist in nature? When you yourself exist in nature, God or nature, whatever you can call it, has put you on this world and also put many plants around you. Most of these plants have healing properties. So I've answered the first question.
Yes.
Of the right.
Yeah.
Second one is with acidity.
Yeah.
As I said, you have heard of haldi wala doodh, not haldi wala pani. Correct? So in the olden days, when they would give you the curcumin or the haldi, it would be mixed in doodh or in milk. Now this milk is basically fat. So fat has a tendency to absorb this curcumin. And we also know that people used to give milk when they had acidity. So the right way and the right preparation is important. Now we have heard of the new pharmaceuticals which are going into the herbal medicine. Most of the pharmaceutical companies commercially have started to produce curcumin and you'll get it off the shelf. Now this curcumin is not water soluble. This curcumin is fat soluble. Again, this curcumin is put in a tablet or in a capsule. Most of these capsules, when you encapsulate this curcumin, the capsule should open in the duodenum, not in the stomach. Or the tablet should disintegrate in the duodenum, not in the stomach. So it should be sustained release. If it is not sustained release.
Dr. Leroy, hold on. There are a lot of interconnected questions, so I want you to take it together. Now,
yes.
The same question, there's another person who's asking you, does curcumin destroy the intestinal bacteria? All right?
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
Absolutely no.
Okay.
Curcumin does not destroy the intestinal bacteria.
Okay, so that question is answered. The next question is, whenever we get a herb in the form of a capsule, how can we be sure that it's sterile and hygienic? How can we be sure that the product inside and whatever we are taking is free of contaminants? Can you please let us know briefly?
Yes. Now there are two questions in this. One is it is sterile and one is it is free of contaminants.
That's right.
First, talking about sterile.
Yeah.
Sterile is invented by us. Nothing in this world is sterile. Even the food you eat is not sterile. It has to have good bacteria. It has to have bacteria so that your gut gets colonized. The problem with people having all your problems with the gut is them eating sterile food. Keeping on washing your hands, eating sterile food. I know this is controversial in this time is going on in the world. Secondly, free from contaminants. Now, what you're talking about contaminants, it could be heavy metals, it could be mercury, lead, and all that. Usually, most of these herbs which are grown commercially are fed with river water, and most of the river are contaminated with all heavy metals. So in the extraction process, which most companies do, they buy herbs that are grown organically or organically to the extent possible. As I say, nothing is absolutely 100% organic, but organically to the extent possible. And these metals and these things are removed. So there is something called a gas chromatography report that comes along with these. Or you see the certificate of analysis which is mentioned on it. It is called a COA. So if you write to the company can send you a COA. And in that COA, you will see the amount of heavy metals present.
Yes.
So most of these heavy metals are below the, this limit.
Yes, Dr. Leroy. Dr. Leroy, hold on, please. Hold on. Now, Dr. Shenoy, can you hear me, Dr. Shenoy? Dr. Shenoy?
Yes, yes.
Yes. The question for you is,
Yeah.
can ashwagandha be given to children and elderly? If yes, what is the dose? Okay.
Okay, it is the drug of choice for elderly.
Yes.
What we will do is that we are giving tablets, ashwagandha tablets or ashwagandha kshirapaka.
Okay.
You can use ashwagandha kshirapaka or ashwagandha tablet in the form of tablet, and it is also useful for children, but you have to give in kshirapaka form only. You cannot give it to the tablet form.
And what is the dose for adults? Depending on the form, the dose is different, right? Depending on the
correct,
form.
correct.
Yeah.
So we can give half glass of.
Yes, yes. Half glass of. You're breaking, Dr. Shenoy. Yeah.
Actually, to that ratio.
Okay. Yeah.
That is 1/4 glass you can give above 3 to 6.
Okay. Now one more question for you, Dr. Shenoy. Can you elaborate the patented Sensoril or KSM 66? How is it different from local ashwagandha? KSM 66 or patented Sensoril. How is it different from local ashwagandha?
No, I have not seen the tablet at all.
Okay.
But when I talk about the ashwagandha, we are having ISO 9000 certificate companies are there. So you can buy, because even the multinational companies, Gufic, they have come with the ashwagandha tablets. Even Himalaya, they have come with the ashwagandha tablet. I have not seen that tablet.
Yes.
Let me see.
So Dr. Shenoy, next question. Can ashwagandha be consumed by people having blood pressure, high blood pressure, thyroid issues, and high sugar? Any person with a kind of this medical condition, can they consume ashwagandha safely?
Yeah. We are using this ashwagandha for diabetic patient. In diabetic patient, chronic diabetes patient, in diabetic neuropathy, this is the drug of choice, and it is safe to use in ashwagandha, because instead of giving B complex, we are prescribing along with the anti-diabetic medicines ashwagandha as a part of nutrition and to prevent a diabetic neuropathy. That is the first thing. And in thyroid, if you use it, no problem, but we are not using it for thyroid patient. But there is no harm in using in thyroid also. But in diabetes, you have to use it. Is a drug of choice for diabetic neuropathy. So to prevent diabetic neuropathy, we are prescribing the patient daily one tablet at night. It is ashwagandha. Many preparations are available.
Yes, thank you. Now, Dr. Leroy, the next question. Let's keep the answers very crisp, Dr. Leroy. We have a lot of questions. So the next question for you, Dr. Leroy, in the evidence-based medicine era, are there any meta-analysis or randomized clinical trials showing the anti-neoplastic effect of curcumin? There's a question for you.
Yes.
Yes, so there is. Okay.
Yes.
So Robin, you can please get in touch with us. We will try and provide you the evidence that Dr. Leroy has in terms of evidence-based medicine and meta-analysis regarding the anti-neoplastic effect of curcumin. Okay. Leroy, the next question. Is curcumin safe for cardiac?
Ma'am, just a second.
It is a procoagulant.
There's a lot of background noise. There's a lot of background noise. Can you please turn off the video if YouTube is playing somewhere, or make it mute?
Where?
I think Dr. Leroy's computer or your computer has some background noise.
Yeah. Now better.
My computer, is it okay?
Yeah. Now better. Yeah.
It's better now. Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Leroy, is curcumin safe for cardiac patients as it is a known procoagulant? Yeah.
See, when we are talking about cardiac patients, the disease is not just clotting of the blood. Most of these cardiac patients are already on anticoagulants. It is the inflammation of the artery or the inflammation of the endothelium that we want to treat. Treating, just making the blood thin is not the answer. Giving a person a high dose of an anticoagulant is a symptomatic relief. I'm not saying that it is not required. It is absolutely required. I am not against giving symptomatic relief when it is required. But for a long-term use, I would say definitely curcumin has its role to play. There are many studies showing curcumin has releases a lot of nitric oxide on the endothelium, causes the release of nitric oxide on the endothelium, which causes vasodilatation.
Yeah. So Dr. Leroy, another question. What is the best time to take curcumin? Is it morning or night?
So if you are taking it with milk, the best time is night, because along with that, you will get some good amount of release of tyrosine and some other, hormones and release of melatonin. So you can also get a good sleep.
Dr. Leroy.
If you are taking it with water.
Yeah.
If you are taking it with water, the best time to take it is with warm water in the morning. If you are taking it with milk, the best time to take it is with warm milk or hot milk at night.
Yes. So Dr. Leroy, next question. When curcumin powder is applied to the facial skin, the skin dries up. What could be the reason? All right, this is from a doctor. So she asks you, when curcumin is applied on the facial skin, the skin
yes.
What could be the
because
reason?
A lot of people use it as a mask. So the right way of using it is to take a little bit of basin flour, curcumin, and coconut oil. Then you make the mask and then you apply it. A lot of people use only basin flour and curcumin and apply it, and then in the next day, within 24 hours, it gets dry. They forget to add the coconut oil.
Yes. So how do we combat the constipation that many people report after the consumption of curcumin?
What happens is that because of this, the constipation happens because of the dose. They should try and decrease the dose or change the formulation, because many a times the constipation is also because of the additives in the capsule. So you try for something like nano curcumin or something. It's a very small dose. Then you may not get the constipation.
So can fresh turmeric be ground and stored? If yes, how long do you think it can be used without losing its properties? In your experience, can fresh turmeric be ground and stored? If yes, how long without losing its properties?
Fresh turmeric taken out from the ground, which is not boiled. Usually the turmeric you get in the market is boiled and dried, which is not boiled. You take it from the ground, wash it, grind it in the mixer. You can store it for around 3-4 days. That's it.
Okay. Now, Dr. Shenoy, can ashwagandha be used in heart patients? And what about the constipation? Many people complain after consumption of ashwagandha. Dr. Shenoy? Yes. Cannot hear you. Unmute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can ashwagandha be taken by heart patients? Second one, what do you do when patients complain of constipation after consumption of ashwagandha?
No, it is not possible, because ashwagandha cannot cause constipation at all.
Okay.
I will give you a guarantee that it is not at all causing constipation 100%. Constipation may be because of some other reasons. The second one, it can be given safely to the cardiac patient also.
Okay, one more question. Is ashwagandha an aphrodisiac? Does it promote sexual stimulation?
Yeah, you are right. It is a sexual stimulant also.
So Ramesh, good news to you. There is a question from somebody who is asking this. Okay.
Madam, one more thing I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Leroy has given a beautiful this one. Really, the curcumin causes constipation.
Yes.
But in our classics, they have given a methodology to rule out the constipation. What you have to do is that you have to fry the curcumin powder in ghee.
Ghee,
And
ghee.
it is called ghee. And it is called as Grata Brashta Haridra.
Okay, okay.
Grata Brashta Haridra.
Yeah.
And if you use that Grata Brashta Haridra along with milk, it will not cause constipation at all. It will relieve your constipation also.
Okay,
Correct.
fine. Now, is ashwagandha to be taken in any particular hour of the day, morning, afternoon, or evening, or can it be consumed anytime?
Do Grata Brashta Haridra.
Yeah.
Sorry, Leroy, I have given a small tip on curcumin also.
Oh, no problem.
Yes, sir.
Every one of us are on the same page.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Shenoy, what time should you take ashwagandha? Morning, afternoon, or evening?
Yeah, ashwagandha, when you say it is sexual stimulant, you have to take it before sleep, 2 hours before sleep.
Okay.
That is the time given. Otherwise, for all other things, you can take it morning or night. No problem.
Okay, okay, fine. So I think we have come to the end of questions. We have one more question, I think, from somebody. Okay, so we have a lot of thank you. We have a lot of
Thank you,
appreciation.
madam.
Yeah, we have a lot of appreciation to Dr.
Thank
Shenoy,
you.
Dr. Leroy.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you for the great webinar. There are a lot of questions. Jagdish, can we have the link for Saturday? So we are we are having the next webinar on Saturday. I'll urge all of you here. Thank you very much for coming. Dr. Sri Kumar, are you here? Dr. Sri Kumar, are you here?
Welcome to Sri Kumar sir also.
Yeah, if Dr. Sri Kumar is here, then great afternoon to you. I would love for you to just say hello if you're here. Dr. Sudha, are you here? To everyone who is here, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you, Ushi madam. Thank you,
Yes,
Ushi madam.
and,
You are a wonderful host.
Yes, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ushi. Thank you.
And we're done with the questions. We're just sharing. I will share the PDF with you if you really want it. So just come into the site. We will just key in the email ID. It's write2ushi@gmail. So I'm sure that we'll also put in the link. We have the next webinar, which is coming up on Saturday. So just please ensure that you register for that. That is a marathon one on gut health. So we've already shared the link in the chat window. Those of you who haven't registered, please go there and register. We look forward to having you with us on Saturday, 23rd May at 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We have a lot of panelists, 6-7 of them. One from Thailand, one from UK, and the rest from India. Every one of them is an expert on gut health, just like you heard Dr. Shenoy and Leroy. With great gratitude to Jagdish and my friends who actually help us with all this, the technology behind all of this. Big thank you. We had a glitch, but then we kind of overcome it. That's the issue with technology. I believe that, I'll share something I read in the morning. It says, there grows no herb to heal a coward's heart. It's important to be brave during these times. It's also very important to believe that we need to learn from everybody. Wisdom is with everybody. It's not one man's patented property. I look down on cynics. I also believe that every one of you who's come in here today has come in here to learn as well as to support all of us. So these programs are held in the interest of public awareness. To all the friends and well-wishers who supported this and shared the link, a big heartfelt thank you. We can only say a virtual thanks and a virtual applause to Leroy and Dr. Shenoy. So it gives me great joy to thank Leroy and Dr. Shenoy. We pulled it off. It was great on time. Thank you. If you have questions, write to Ushi. Thank you to every single one who's here. We shared what we could. We have lots of information on the PPT. We will send it to you if you really want it and write to us. If you have any feedback, please give it to us. And my apologies for the small glitch. It's not in our hands. So we did whatever best we can. Thank you so much to Shenoy students. Thank you so much to Leroy, and thank you to everybody. Yes, good. So I'm glad that you're all here. Thank you to Jagdish. He's sitting all the way in Germany, giving up his personal time to do this. So without you, we wouldn't have been able to do it. Thank you. Thank you. So if you're done, great wishes. Go register for Saturday. See you all on Saturday. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great Sunday. And let's kick the virus out. And before I kick you out, I think you should leave the room. Thank you so much. Bye, and
Thank you.
great evening to all of you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Thank you.
and have a great evening. Thank you so much.